Hi guys, and welcome to part two of my episode 3. So this is all about the emotional side of, as I said, having a seizure and the aftermath. So I'm just going to go straight into it, and I hope you enjoy. So for me, like I said, I went from having, okay, I've got about 8.5 months to go until I'm going to be seizure free. Now I've gone back to a year. So you can imagine there's a little bit of an emotional change right there. And in that next day, you've just got to get on with life. You've suddenly got to go to work. You've got to just continue with your family. I don't have children at the moment. Looking to have children maybe in the future, but those sort of things you've got to carry on with everyday life. How do you deal with that? In this state of mind when you're trying to get to that, and I think it's with any life goal, yes, your emotional state just goes through the roof, to be completely honest. And I think what it's about having that strength inside of you to persevere. And it's about with any goal. And I don't mean this with just epilepsy. I mean it with anything in life, when it comes to your targets, when it comes to family, when it comes to work, when it comes to recovery, exercise. If your mindset and your will is strong enough, you put your focus on it, yes, you can achieve it. We talk about it all a lot in, you see lots in all these advertisements, but for me, as I said, I don't have the worst epilepsy, but I have 2 to 3 seizures a year. What in my lifetime, I probably had over 150 odd seizures, maybe. I don't know if I think about it now. But I've managed on the back of that still to persevere and try and stay strong and push for my goals. And I thought on the back of that, first thing I did was, right, yes, my missus knew. The next thing I did, I went and told my mum and my sister, my family. They don't live here. They live elsewhere in the UK. And that's, to be honest, it's not something I used to do straight away, because I sometimes try and used to hide away. I'd like to keep that emotion buckled down, and it would just sort of keep inside me. I wouldn't let it out, because right, if I keep it buckled down, don't tell anyone, it's easy, I'm sorted. But then sooner or later it'll just come out, and it's just a big bang of fireworks. And the truth is, it's not good for you. It's not good for your emotional state. And for your epilepsy in particular, I talked about it a little bit last week. More stress is not good for your epilepsy. I then let a friend know, I think I could say I wouldn't always used to, in terms of when I look at my old bosses, did my bosses always know about my epilepsy? They did as my career went along. My current boss does know. He's really good about it. And at the same time, he still continues to push me in work in the way I want to be pushed. But still, if I've had a seizure, obviously, he knows I'm not coming into work. And he's completely adherent to my health. So it's the perfect balance. It's really fantastic for me. But it's how it should be as well for people. And the reason I say that is because it's how you guys can all have it as well. And it's what I've done to help, really try and achieve my goals. What I've realized is, first and foremost, I've had a seizure. It sucks. I've got another year to go to get to seizure free. Okay. I've got my family there to support me. I've got my partner there to support me. I've got friends there to support me. And they're the first people I let know as well, just so the most important thing, it's good to talk about it. And then, from a work standpoint, got on and I had, a good ass work with week, because work is a big passion of mine. I enjoy work. Some people I think say they just do their job 9 to 5, but I'm just one of those people. I'm always like striving to achieve more, so I enjoy what I do. But the emotional aftermath, I can say, when I go back and I look in the past, I can tell you, I didn't used to tell people. I would ponder on, why did I have that seizure? Was it something to do with my diet? Was it something to do with my sleeping regime that week? Was it to do with something when I went out too late? Was it something to do with me working? Was it to do with suddenly playing some video games and suddenly am I affected by flashing lights now for any random reason? I would go through all these stages of paranoia because of trying to figure out, why did the seizure occur? Now, the best advice I can give there is, rather than dwelling on that for the next several weeks, write those notes down of what you did that week in a seizure diary. Take that on your next visit to the doctor, because the most important thing about your seizure diary is just, are you following a general day-to-day routine, and did you do anything specifically out of the ordinary? So, for example, me, when I'm on my work week, I'm up about 6:30 to 7, and I've gone to bed by about 11. So if I was in the middle of that work week, if I suddenly decided to go out till 2 o'clock in the morning, and then get up at 8, that's a likely point at which I could potentially have a seizure. It's an easy spot. So I'd say, put those things in the diary, talk about them with your doctor, talk about it with your friends if you're concerned. But the most important thing is, we have to move forward, and we're like, yes, we've got a year ahead of us. Let's go smash it, because that's what we want to do, and when I've changed my mindset to dwelling on the past to moving forward with the future, that's when I started to achieve my goals. That's when I started, to push further with my life, meeting my partner, getting my flat, getting my house with my partner, doing a marathon like I told you earlier. I've done a fair few things, but it's, as I said, you've got to have that perseverance, and you don't have to do it on your own. As I said, use your friends, use your family, talk to people. When you have a seizure, let people know. Don't keep that emotion bottled up inside, because it will eat away at you, and it's the same with anything in life. Talk about it. Right, so like I said, guys, next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about diagnosis of epilepsy. I'm going to talk about my diagnosis specifically, going back about 25 years. Makes me feel a little bit old now. So I hope you look forward to it. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. So please leave me any comments or questions, anything you want to know, and I'll answer it wherever possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Cheers.